Welcome back to another episode of Marcel Hyde Mindset. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and share these episodes to someone that you think may help them grow. All right. Stop gatekeeping. Stop going through podcast episodes, whether it be this one or somebody else's, and not sharing some information to someone, because the way God works, the way the universe works, if you share with other people, if you want to see other people grow, develop, get better, improve their life, then it's only a given that you will be blessed in your own life, right? And things will be given to you, whether that be from God, from the universe, or from other people, okay? The more you hold things to yourself and not share with other people, even though you could give something to someone and that could help them, and that can help them, if you're holding that information, then if anything, it's going to affect you more than them. Eventually they'll get that information, especially if they're seeking it, especially if they're living right and they're wanting to improve. The information will be brought to them. So stop holding on to information. A lot of these episodes, sometimes you view these videos and you're like, you know what? I had a conversation with a friend last week about the same topic that Marcel is discussing about. And I think that sharing this video with them would be great to help them with that, to reinforce maybe what you were saying to them. A lot of times when I say, maybe you already know, but then you're coaching somebody else or you're helping somebody else. And that is just positive reinforcement for them. All right. So today on the episode, you're going to grow, you're going to get better, you're going to learn some nuggets on here. But the main thing is make sure you're actually taking time to write notes. You're taking time to actually apply certain things that you learn on the show here today in your life. I always say that the key is application. The reason I say that is because there's thousands of YouTube channels out there. There's thousands of people that you can listen to and study and watch. But the main thing is, if you're studying these people and you're listening to these people, are you actually implementing what you're learning from these individuals? And it's a waste of time if you're just watching videos just for entertainment and actually not doing anything from the videos that you're watching. And if you're learning something, right, it's just a waste of time. Like, you might as well just turn on Netflix and watch Netflix, as opposed to watching a content creator who is helping you in a certain area of your life where you're learning something, or they're teaching knowledge or education, and you're not actually applying it to your life. How is that helping you in any type of way if you don't actually apply it? Theory is, in my opinion, the more theory that you have, it's not necessarily going to change your life. It's the more action you take, the more practical, you're using the practical side, not the theory side. And that's the most important thing, is the action is everything. You can learn all the books, you can know all the stories of everything, but at the end of the day, if you do not take the action, nothing will change for you. So I want to emphasize that I do produce videos, and I do encourage people to not be just a consumer. The day that you say, okay, I'm done with this creator and my main thing is I'm focusing on creating content, I'll be happy, right? But until then, watch these videos, take your notes, and then go out there and shoot your own videos, right? Go after your own dreams that you have for yourself. Go after your own calling, right? I always say that you have to find what your calling and your purpose is, because yes, your purpose and your calling will be work, but when you're doing it, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like it's so natural. So if you want to find your calling, you want to find your purpose, what are some things that just feel natural to you? What are some things that, you just really want to do, right? Maybe you're not getting paid for it. Maybe you're doing something and you're not getting paid for it, but you feel called to it. You feel like you should be doing it. Your world feels empty if you're not doing it. You don't feel the same if you don't do it. You just feel like this is what you're supposed to be doing. And what is that? A lot of people ignore that calling, ignore that voice that is telling them this is what you're supposed to be doing. But once you start doing your calling, once you start walking into your purpose, your life will never be the same. Your life changes essentially when you walk into your purpose. And a lot of individuals, a lot of people, they just follow other people and what other people are doing. And, once you follow what other people are doing, like, let's say, for example, like a faceless YouTube channel or a faceless Instagram page, right? You see somebody that created that, maybe that was their calling. And then you decide that you want to do it because you think that it's going to be easy money or quick money. And then you do it for 6 months and then you quit. And the reason you're quitting is because that wasn't your calling. That wasn't your purpose. You just went towards that because you thought that would be a quick way or easy way to make money because you saw somebody else doing it. Or you see somebody creating content and you're like, oh, and now they're making money from it. Now you're like, oh, well, that's what I should be doing. But that's not necessarily what you should be doing. Not everybody should be creating content. Not everybody should have a YouTube channel or a podcast. Your calling is going to be different from everybody else. Maybe you are put here to work a job and be a manager, a supervisor, a director. Maybe you're put here to be a person that opens up a store, a coffee shop, right? Everybody has a calling for something. And it's not my choice to decide what your calling is, or it's not me who's going to decide who your calling is. You have to know for yourself. You have to dig within to figure out what your calling is. And we live in a very lost generation because everyone's just following everyone else. Everyone sees people doing things and they're like, oh, I'm just going to do that. But it's not what you're meant to be doing. Maybe it's what they're meant to be doing, but it's not what you're meant to be doing. And that's why you find so many people that start projects and, they start these projects and a year later you ask them if how's the project going? And they say, oh, you know what? There were too many people in that industry, or you know what? Too many people were making money from it. So now there's no more money to make, or, they make all these excuses about why, what they started, they had to stop, right? Instead of being like, you know what? It wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my calling. It wasn't what I was supposed to do. I got caught up in following what other people were doing, right? I thought it was cool to start a podcast until I realized that a year in, I didn't make a cent. I thought it was cool to create a YouTube channel until the second year I didn't make any money, and I realized that I was just here because I thought I'd be a millionaire overnight, right? Where the person that decided that, you know what, I actually like to deliver a message. I actually like to help people with their mindset. I'm willing to go 5 years unpaid. I'm willing to go 10 years unpaid. I'm willing to go my whole lifetime getting unpaid because this is my calling. This is my purpose. It's not about the money, right? And once you have that mindset and mentality, then you found your calling, you found your purpose. You're not going to just quit when things get hard. A lot of people just quit on things when things get hard, quit on things when a lot of people quit when things get hard on things that they're actually not meant to be doing, right? If you're meant to be doing something and something is your calling, just because things get hard, you're not going to just all of a sudden quit, give up, stop. No, you're going to adjust. You're going to pivot. You're going to figure out another way to do it or get it done. Because you're like, this is my calling, this is my purpose, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I always say on every episode that just because it's your calling doesn't mean it's just going to be a walk in the park. Just because you're calling doesn't mean it's going to be easy. You're still going to have challenges. You're still going to go through adversities. You're still going to have to better yourself. You're still going to have to work on your personal development. You're still going to have to evolve as a person. Just because someone's good at something doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're a pro or an expert. It takes work to get to that level. All right. And whatever your calling is, make sure you're getting your repetition in the beginning. Because it's your calling, you may not be the greatest. You're not going to be the greatest, but get your repetition in. Keep practicing it. Keep working on your skills. Keep developing. If you're called to speak, keep speaking until you improve and you get better. And one day, maybe you're speaking in front of 2 people, and then maybe you're speaking in front of 10 people. Now you're speaking in front of 50 people. And then one day, maybe have a whole auditorium you're speaking in front of. But you don't just start at that auditorium. And a lot of times people just think, let me just skip all these steps. But you can't skip steps because these steps are preparing you for the end. The steps that you're taking, each level, each stage that you pass through prepares you for that final stage, right? Because you've been equipped to deal with the things that are going to be thrown at you when you get to that final stage or that stage that you want to get to. Because if someone just throws you, in a pool, let's say for an example, someone throws you in a pool and you never went to level 1 on how to actually swim, you're most likely drown. Maybe 1 or 2 people might be able to survive just because they're just naturally gifted or naturally talented, or they're that scared that they just want to find a way to survive. But the majority of people, if you've never swam and you get thrown into a water, you're going to drown. So that's the same thing with your goal and where you want to be. You're not going to be at the end goal right away. You're going to have to go through the process. You're going to have to go through every stage, every level, right? And eventually you get there. If you don't quit, if you don't give up on yourself, you keep learning, if you keep growing, all right? So I'm in the process of developing a community. I think it's something great for people that are stuck with their mindset, whether it's like you have limiting beliefs, if it's someone that's lacking discipline, you're not able to stay disciplined. If it's someone that doesn't have great leadership skills, but they want to improve their leadership skills, there's a great community for you to be a part of where you're going to be held accountable, right? You're going to be around other men who want to grow, who want to develop, right? And iron sharpens iron. You're going to be in a group of people that all want to get better and do better. Because maybe you're in a group right now where the people you're around or the people you're surrounded with are okay being average or okay, being comfortable. But the community I'm developing will be a community of men that want to get better, want to reach their full potential, want to push themselves beyond limits that they think they can push themselves. So get ready. The community will be launching in a month or so. I'm still in the process of working on everything, but you need a community, right? Because you are like the people you surround yourself with. So look around you. Look at the people that are around you. Are the people around you motivated? Are they determined? Or are they lazy? Do they gossip all the time? Do they not work towards improving themselves? Do they drink constantly on the weekends? Do they smoke constantly on the weekends? Are they in the club all the time? Are they not reading books? Well, we already know what the result is going to be for people that do that. So if you want to have a breakthrough in your life, if you want to get to the highest level and be the best version of yourself, then that's going to require you to, stop the clubbing, stop the drinking, stop the smoking, stop things that are working against you, stop things that are not helping you elevate, not helping you grow, even to the point where scrolling, you're just wasting time watching Netflix every day. Like, I'm not saying you have to completely cut off Netflix, but I'm saying if you're someone that's watching that every single day, but you're not in a position where you want to be in life, then you need to evaluate the time that you're using and where you're using that time, the time you have and where you're using it. So that's why it's important to have like-minded individuals around you. And sometimes you have to say goodbye to certain people. Sometimes you have to walk away from certain people, and that's for your own good. That's so you can elevate. And sometimes when you walk away from those people and they see that you've walked away, they now have a decision to either level up to your level, or they decide to stay the same, and that relationship just kind of fades away. And that's what you need to do. If you want to actually grow, if you want to actually get to the next level, there's a lot of people that you're going to have to let go. That friend group that you have, that you guys run out every Friday night, get drunk, and then your whole weekend's wasted, you need to distance yourself from them. And if they don't talk to you because you're not going out with them anymore, then thank them, right? Actually thank them. They're doing you a favor. So it's time to elevate. It's time to get yourself to the next level. It's time to put down things that are not actually helping you and working against you, because time will just pass you by. I always say it on every episode, time will pass you by. You'll wake up one day and you'll have nothing that you've built. You wouldn't have progressed in your career because you were chasing the wrong things. You weren't chasing growth. You weren't chasing becoming a better person. You weren't trying to evolve. You weren't trying to be the best version of yourself. You were chasing things that were empty. The club, empty. Drinking, empty. Smoking, empty. Things that are empty. Things that actually don't elevate you. Things that actually don't make you a better person. They bring you down. And if you decide today that you're going to stop and change your life, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but that's why you need accountability people in your life that's going to hold you accountable. When you're thinking of slipping, you have someone you can go to say, hey, I feel like I'm going to slip. Help me out here. You need accountability people in your corner to also hold you accountable to the things that you say you're going to do. Because actually, who's holding you accountable? You said that you want us to start content creation. You've been saying that for the last 6 months. Who said to you that you told me last week that you're going to start next week and you haven't started? You need that in your life, all right? So make sure you guys are spending each and every day to get a little bit better. Remember, trust the process. Every day is a day to get better. Every single day. You could do something, even on vacation, even when you're off from your job. You could get a little bit better every single day, all right? Because that's what it takes to change your life. Is you have to find the time. People are like, I don't have any time. You have the time. You're just not making the time to get better. You're not making the time to work on yourself. And you say you're tired sometimes. Like, most people have a job and they say, oh, I'm tired from my job, so I can't read. But then that just means that you're going to stay at a certain level, even with that company, because to get to another level in the company, you still have to improve as a person. You have to grow as a person to get to another level, to a higher level. So no matter whether you're trying to create content, no matter whether you're trying to progress in your career, you have to improve yourself to get to a higher level. All right. So subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys learned a lot from this episode today. Click the like button and stop gatekeeping. Share this information to someone that might need this knowledge. All right. Peace and love. Until next time, Marcel, Hyde Mindset.